I apologize ahead of time. The video and audio tend to drift apart. Sadly, I'm not very tech savvy. It might be best to merely listen rather than watching as well. There's a series concerning which I would love to hear Dan McClellan's critiques on. I am sure that if you were to watch the entire series, there will be things he would want to critique. I hope that Dan McClellan comes across these and gives his feedback. Was Eve commanded not to eat of the tree of knowledge? Let's take a look. Genesis 2 verse 16. And the Lord God commanded man, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat. Verse 17. But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it, for on the day you eat thereof you shall surely die. This command was given to Adam before Eve was created. Later, in verse 22, and the Lord God built the side that he had taken from the man into a woman, and he brought her to man. There are plenty of places where a man is commanded to do something by God, but the woman is not commanded to do such. The problem with many believers is their bias, wanting a commandment to apply to the woman as well, despite what the text reads. Many people find many ways to force something to apply to a woman when it simply doesn't. Such as, well, Eve was actually a part of man, so when one was commanded, they were both commanded. Or, well, Adam was first androgynous. Or, they became husband and wife, which is one flesh, so it had to apply equally to the woman. Or, it just does equally apply to the woman. Or even, Eve knew the commandment, so God must have told her also. None of these ideas work. What is the logic in separating Eve from Adam just to put them back together? And that is the least of the problems. This series is simply to present what is literally in the text and nothing more. However you desire to interpret the story, that is completely up to you. It's a completely different issue altogether. What is literally in the text is Eve didn't exist yet. Adam was commanded to not eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, and after that Eve was made. The very fact that she was made says that she didn't exist in Adam. Furthermore, if you consider the time that the text was written, it was during a time when women were seen as property. Only the husband needs to be commanded. The husband will control his woman. Simply put, as far as the text reads, only Adam was commanded against eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge. So as far as the text reads, Eve could have eaten of the fruit, and no harm, no foul. The text does not say how Eve came across the information of the commandment. It is clear that she told the serpent something different from what God told Adam. She could have been told by either God or Adam verbatim what God told Adam. And she could have added the bit about not touching it in and of herself. She could have also been told by either God or Adam, with either one of them adding the bit about not touching the tree. There is nothing in the text to allude to this addition being right or wrong. There is nothing in her curse to call back to it. God doesn't address it in any way, so there is no way to resolve this issue. The fact that it isn't addressed is telling in and of itself, though, but lack of being addressed is not evidence nor proof of anything, merely an indicator. Simply put, in the end, Eve was not commanded against eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil.